Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are on chapter 19, Ravi, in Save Me a Seat. My day is getting better by the minute. First, Mrs. Beam had liked the non-katakis. Then, kates? Maybe it's kates, not katakis. Then she was impressed by when she noticed how far I'd read ahead in Bud, not Buddy. Now is the time for gym class. I was junior high sports captain at Vidya Mandir last year, even though I was only in 4th grade. If American gym is anything like PE in India, then my troubles will soon be over. I looked down at my clean white shoes. Das Sir, my PE teacher in Vidya Mandir, would be pleased. Every day before class, he lined us up and first checked our shoes. They must be pure white, he insisted. Thanks to Amma and her polishing skills, mine were always as white as snow. Das Sir would sit in the shade of his favorite neem tree and tell us to start with some drills, stretching exercises, jumping jacks, and 1 round of running. I always finished first. Pramod, a close second, and Ramaswamy, the poor sod, came dead last every time. He was slow, not only in reading, but at everything else as well, including running. Das Sir had no patience for him. Ramaswamy had such a big belly that when he tried to touch his toes, he would bend his knees and Das Sir would give him a whack with a neem twig. We all laughed our heads off when he howled. After the drills before we played cricket, Das Sir would send Ramaswamy off with the girls to play throw ball or tennis or kho-kho. Those obviously are games that they play in India. Maybe something you might search up. The gym teacher at Albert Einstein Elementary School is called Coach Victorine. He has a funny nose and no mustache, but he dresses exactly like Mr. Das, white shirt and black tracksuit bottoms. I am looking forward to impressing him and everyone else with my skills. Coach Victorine leads us out onto a large grass field behind the school. He has a canvas bag containing several metal bats and some large yellow balls. I've never played American baseball, but I imagine it's a lot like cricket. I feel a bit nervous. How hard can it be? I expect we will begin with some drills and running, but instead Coach Victorine chooses Dylan and a girl named Jasleen to be captains and tells them to pick their teams. Do the girls play too? I asked the boy standing next to me. He's the one who rides my bus, whose name is Tim or Jim. Yep, he says. Playing against girls is going to be easy peasy. Jasleen picks first. She chooses a girl called Amy. I wave at Dylan to get his attention, then point to myself. I was first batsman at Vidya Mandir, I call out. I want him to know I won't let him down if he picks me. He chooses the boy named Robert instead. I was sure he would pick me first, but I remind myself that Dylan doesn't know anything about my athletic abilities, or that I was a champion cricketer. It's Jasleen's turn to pick again. I'll take you, she says. At first I think she's pointing at the girls standing in front of me, but instead she's picked me. I can't believe I'm going to play my first game of American baseball on a team made of girls. This is all Mrs. Frost's fault. If she hadn't made me go to the resource room yesterday, Dylan and I would have had lunch together. I would have told him about the Gold Cup I won last year for scoring 2 centuries in our final cricket game. He would have picked me first for his team today, and together we would have beaten the other team hollow. Jasleen chooses a few other boys for her team as well, so at least I'm not alone. Dylan will be surprised when he sees how well I play. I predict he'll regret not picking me first. It's time to warm up, so I grab one of the bats and give it a good hard swing. Baseball bats are quite different from cricket bats, and I want to get a feel for it before the game begins. The next thing I know, Coach Victorine is screaming his head off at me. What have I done now? Chapter 20. Joe. Coach Victorine reminds me of a penguin. He has a long nose like a beak, and when he walks, he waddles. Line up, ladies and germs, he tells us. I played Little League for one season when I was 7, but I wasn't any good at it. Even with my earplugs in, all that yelling was too much for me. Plus, I'm pretty uncoordinated. As soon as the coach figured out I couldn't hit or throw or catch a ball, I spent the rest of the season sitting on the bench eating sunflower seeds. I didn't mind. I like sunflower seeds. I don't like playing baseball, but I like to watch it on TV with my dad. My dad is a Phillies fan, but I'm into the Boston Red Sox. They're epic. In gym class, instead of baseball, we play slow pitch softball. Dylan and Jasleen Arnado are the best hitters, and Amy Yamaguchi has got mad skills too. Emily Mooney isn't bad either, which is surprising because she's white as a marshmallow and so skinny her arms look like toothpicks. Jasleen picks first. I want Amy, she says. Amy Yamaguchi runs over and starts hugging her. This is baseball, girls, squawked Coach Victorine, not a slumber party. Ravi is pointing to himself, trying to get Dylan to pick him, but Jasleen picks Ravi instead. He's so shocked, he looks like he's about to pass out. Jasleen probably chose him because she feels sorry for him. Girls do junk like that. Dylan and Jasleen go back and forth picking teams until finally Henry Futterman and I are the only ones left. Henry is as uncoordinated as I am, plus he plays the violin, so his mom wrote a note to Coach Victorine saying Henry's not allowed to climb a rope or catch a ball or anything else that might hurt his fingers. I'll take Futsie, says Jasleen, pointing at Henry. So I end up in the last place on earth I want to be. Dylan's not too happy about it either. If we lose because of you, you're going to be sorry, Pud, he tells me. We start tossing the ball around, a little to warm up, and all of a sudden, Coach Victorine starts yelling at Ravi. No rec specs, no ball, no expectations. Excuse me, says Ravi. I don't understand. You can't wear your glasses when you play ball, kid. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. In India, I always wore my glasses when we played cricket, Ravi says. Well, in case you haven't noticed, this is New Jersey, kid. You need to go to the eye doctor and get yourself a pair of rec specs like those. He points at Henry, who's wearing a pair of prescription goggles instead of his regular glasses. Can you see without those things? Coach Victorine asks Ravi. Not very well, he says, pushing his glasses up with his thumb. Take your pick, kid. Sit on the bench or play without your glasses, says Coach. Up to you. Ravi takes off his glasses and puts them in his pocket. I'll play, he says. Our team is up first. We do okay for a while, but then when the bases are loaded, I strike out and Dylan gets ticked off. Way to blow it, Pud, he says, grabbing his glove off the bench and stopping off to the pitcher's mound. Dylan Samreem does not like to lose. Amy leads off for the other team and she gets a hit. Emily and Jasleen get hits too, so Ravi comes up with the bases loaded. He's squinting pretty hard as he steps up to the plate, and I notice he's holding his bat funny, down low like a golf club. He swings and misses twice, but on the third pitch, he brings his bat up, catches a piece of the ball, and sends it foul. Good cut, shouts Coach Victorine. Jasleen and the rest of her team goes nuts, jumping up and down and screaming for Ravi to do it again. Even from far away, I can tell Dylan is up to something. When he turns his head to the side, I see the gleam in his eyes. In slow pitch, the ball is supposed to come at the batter in a nice high arc, but Dylan winds up and pitches a fastball right at Ravi's head. Duck, I yell, but it's too late.